All right, you're good to go.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. First of all, yes, I'm excited to share our story. Do you want to just talk back and forth? Do you want to go first? I guess we
Go
should have
ahead.
agreed on this before we started the video. But okay, so I had to make notes because if I don't, I'll talk for 30 minutes or more. So that's why I keep referring to some notes if you see me looking down. So 2015, almost 6 years ago, I was working 9 to 10-hour days, and every single day I woke up tired, and I would literally snack my way through and drink caffeine, coffee, blizzards, just sugar cravings were out of control every single day. What?
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper, yes. Dr. Pepper was a really good friend of mine, and it wasn't completely rare for me to stop of a morning to pick up a really big Dr. Pepper at Casey's in the morning on my way to work. So just imagine all that sugar. I was incredibly tired after lunch. It was tough to keep my eyelids open. I had zero energy, and all I could think about was a nap. Literally, as soon as probably about 15 to 20 minutes after I got done eating my lunch, I was ready for a nap. And of an evening when I got home, I had zero drive to make supper or play with my children down on the floor, even though that's the kind of mom I wanted to be. I wanted to be very much involved with them. So all of that on top of terrible stomach cramp, IBS, every time my anxiety would flare, my stomach would be an absolute mess. It was awful. And then go to sleep, only I would toss and turn all night. I would not get restful sleep, and then the started all over the very next day. So I was sick a lot. I had antibiotics, kind of mystery symptoms, didn't really know what was going on, but then with the antibiotics would come lots of infections afterwards. So it was just a mess. Something was clearly out of balance for me. And I'll never forget, I saw a post that Megan made, and it was a picture of a tree with the roots kind of climbing down into the ground. And it was talking about the root cause of a lot of the sicknesses or ailments that we face as Americans and beyond. And just getting to the root of the problem by addressing poor gut health and poor blood sugar balance. I thought that was really interesting, and it sounded just bizarre enough to maybe help my husband. I wasn't so much concerned about my theory at the time. I was really concerned. He was having heartburn. Well, I'll let him tell his story here in just a minute. But I thought, okay, we'll give it a try. I ordered the products, and when they came in, he wouldn't try them because he said it looked like snake oil, like witchcraft. So I thought, well, I've been really enjoying my friend Megan's posts, and I think there's probably some truth to some of this, so maybe it's going to help me. I'll give it a try, right? So lo and behold, about, I don't know, what do you think? How far into it was I?
For 3-4 weeks,
okay.
maybe 5 weeks.
So maybe 1 to 2 months in, I started having energy all day. Like, it was incredible. I couldn't even believe that it was working. I wanted to exercise again. I was craving water and healthy foods like fruits and vegetables. And what's really embarrassing is that I reached out to Megan to ask her for some recipes, some healthy recipes, because I have never eaten really healthy in my life. So everything has always been, I've been a junk food junkie as long as I can remember. So I've got a list of things here that I had to write down, because some of these things were really big at the time, but I've forgotten about them because they've just become normal. Regular bathroom visits, instead of it being totally unpredictable, I know when I'm going to go, and that's really nice to have that predictability. Like I said, the cravings for water, the sugar cravings went away. Well, not completely. I still love chocolate. So let's see here. Weight loss was pretty gradual for me. It was probably about 17 pounds in the first 6 months. But today I've lost 25 pounds total, which is pretty amazing to me. The urge to exercise and play with my children, that's huge for me. No need for a nap anymore unless my baby kept me up all night, or my really active toddler takes a nap. Sometimes I will take a nap with him because he's incredibly active. But as far as waking up, like I wake up rested, and I'm not needing a nap the moment I wake up for the day. That's really big for me. And also, I didn't mention this before, but I had a real problem with getting dizzy when I stood. I don't know if anyone's ever experienced that, but when I stood up, I would immediately lose my vision for just a couple of seconds and get really dizzy. And I don't have that anymore. And that's something that comes back almost immediately if I run out of Slim. So that's a big problem. I had the healthiest pregnancy of 3 while I took Plexus products, which, by the way, were all approved by the midwife team at Carl. All my blood sugar levels were in the healthy range, which was not the case with my other 2 pregnancies. No more Charlie horse cramps, no swelling, and I lost the pregnancy weight pretty quickly, which was really nice. And I felt beautiful my whole pregnancy. I felt good, and I feel that I looked good too. Healthy from the inside out, right? So let's see here. For my son, I'll mention him really quickly and then I'll hand it over to Tyler. My son struggled with asthma, eczema, and cradle cap. So he had some major inflammatory issues going on. And so that's been a big research and discovery issue for us. Come to find out, when our skin is angry or when we're showing signs of inflammation, it's usually because of a poor gut health or poorly balanced blood sugar. Both of those contribute to being riddled with inflammation in your body. And the messengers, as far as symptoms go, don't shoot the messengers. Always go for the root cause, which is, like I mentioned before, the poor gut health, the poorly balanced blood sugar. When we address those things for him, we no longer needed the inhaler, the Singular, the once daily Singular, the steroid creams for his eczema. I was using coconut oil to get the cradle cap out of his head. Keep in mind, he's 9 years old, or he was 9 years old at the time. He's 14 now. But I was using everything I could find or read about and get my hands on to get this stuff off of his head, and it always came back. All these would always come back, no matter what I used from the doctor. So when we addressed his poor gut with the ProBio 5, that's when about 2 weeks in, the eczema, the cradle cap went away. He no longer has Singular or inhalers. So I just feel as though, like I said before, when we address the blood sugar balance and the poor gut health, so many issues just resolve themselves, because I truly believe that our bodies are self-healing and self-organizing when you give them the proper tools. And that, for us, was flex implementation, a better deck, and artificial colors and sweeteners as we can. Of course, fresh air, drinking water instead of soda, and focusing kind of on mental health as well. So those are the things that have worked for us, and I am so grateful for Plexus, for one, and I'll let Tyler speak about his results.
All right. Well, my story's not near as exciting, but I will share that I was extremely skeptical, and like Cassie's level of energy, you could immediately see. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll try it. Now, I've never had energy issues. I'm hyper. I'm always hyper. That's not a problem. But what a typical day in the life for me for probably the last 10 years taking it was the absolute worst heartburn every single night. I tried getting rid of so many foods that I ate. I ate Rolaids, Tums like they were candy every single day. I had a jar in my truck, at my desk, at home. Like that was my candy per se.
I remember.
I'm not a sugar guy. I never was into sweets. Never really liked, so I didn't have that going for me. And I just decided that, all right, I would give it. And I would say probably what, 3 weeks?
3 or 4 weeks in.
3 or 4 weeks in, I did have another moment of skepticism because evidently there was some clean out periods, which I really didn't enjoy that too much. However,
detox and die off.
That area of my life got very normal and able to plan a day over, which was great. And the heartburn went away. And then I started getting risky and eating poly ice pizza at 9 o'clock at night and just trying to see if, this really did work. And it did. And something else I had become very accustomed to is joint pain, knees, elbows, hands, work on concrete all day. Couldn't get up off the couch.
It would take you a couple minutes to rise
so stiff.
Seated
and
position.
Lo and behold, that started going away as well. I think that's about the time of moving into ease, maybe.
Yeah.
So for the first year, I was very skeptical to try anything new or more, but I could tell immediate results, and I liked the way I felt. And I did lose weight, even though that wasn't my intention.
Puffiness too, like in your fingers and in your face.
And I got more energy, and I really didn't need it, but it was great. And so I guess to wrap a long story and make it short, so 5 years later, I wasn't one to run to the doctor beforehand, but now, like, if there's any new ailments or something I don't like about my body, I was a guy that was only going to take a pink drink. I am on 4 different. I joke with her like it should be illegal. I swear it's a drug because it just makes you happy.
Vital biome, everybody.
It's very interesting in the world that I live in and what I do. It's
a very high stress job.
It's a pretty good product. And
I've been begging him to take it for a year, and he just tried it. He said, "Are you sure this is legal?" Yes.
Right. So, what am I forgetting?
Really? So Tyler takes Slim every day, the microbiome activating, and ease and nerve. And now he's taking vital biome. So you think that the nerve helped with lots of things too, with pain wise?
Yeah. Feeling, joint sensation, just mobility, period.
It's worth mentioning that RA runs in his family. So he was kind of teetering on probably seeing a doctor about that. Being only 30 years old and not being able to stand up from a seated position in less than 30 seconds. Like, it was just very concerning. So that's not a problem now until the weather changes sometimes.
I will throw a side note. I knew a little bit about gut health from a chiropractor friend trying to get me to do this years ago when I was in for back issues that I thought were being caused from physical action and in my back. And that's when I started paying more attention and learning that gut health, completely controls your physical stance as well.
All things health.
So I work with primarily men. I tell guys about it all the time, and 3 or 4 guys have believed me. And I guess the biggest thing is it's just not a thing for women.
Absolutely.
More guys should know about it.
All ages, men, women, everybody can benefit from what we have for sure. So that's our story, and we could talk for another hour probably, but what I'm really looking forward to is hearing from Vanessa, because her story always impresses me. So Vanessa, if you want to mute or unmute yourself, we will turn our sound.
I think I might, can you hear me? Okay. It unmuted and then muted back again. But hi, everyone. For those that don't know me, my name is Vanessa. And in case you're wondering why I have a funny accent, I'm actually from South Africa. I immigrated from there, 30 years ago to beautiful British Columbia in Canada. And I've been in Kansas for 20 years now. It'll be 20 years next month, actually. We live in a little small holding. We have cows and chickens and duck and roosters and a dog and a cat. So we stay pretty busy with all that. My journey begins actually back in 2012. So prior to 2012, I was very active. I golfed in the summer, and in the winter, the golfing gals, we all bowled. And I was cycling, and I actually just started running. I ran my first what we call a brew to brew over here. It's from Kansas City to Lawrence, if you guys are familiar with the area. It's a relay run. Anyway, I got to do the first one with my husband in beginning of April of 2012. And I don't remember the exact date because I tried to block it out of my mind, but towards the end of April of that year, it was like 10 to 2 in the afternoon. I was 5 minutes from my house at a red light when this gal came barreling out of nowhere. She was high and on drugs, and according to an eyewitness, she was going between 80 and 100 miles an hour when she hit my stationary car, which then rolled and then got stuck like sideways, and so they had to end up cutting me out. With the result of that, I went on, I think, 3 or 4 different prescription medications for pain. I couldn't even put my neck on my pillow at night. I had to have like a really strong medication for that. I was on high cholesterol meds. I had absolutely no energy or desire to work out. 5 years went by and I gained probably 40 pounds. I have been skinny my entire life. 3 years ago. Was it 3 years ago, Cassie? I think it was 3 years. Yeah, 2017. Could be wrong, but anyway, my daughter, this is a funny story because it just shows you what a small world this is. My daughter, who lives in Oklahoma, went to a wedding in Illinois and met Cassie. No, we never knew Cassie at all. They chatted. Anyway, my daughter then came to visit me here in Kansas, and she's like, Mom, there's this probiotic. And it was the same thing. It wasn't for me. It was for my husband because he got diagnosed with diverticulosis, lotus. One or the other. I can't remember. One's the thing and then the other one's when you get the attack. So anyway, he had it. He was getting attacks so bad that he would have to go to the doctor and get on strong antibiotics, 2 really bad antibiotics that were very, very strong. And that happened quite a few times over the few years. And so my daughter was like, you've got to get Darren on this probiotic. It's a unique probiotic. It's different from other ones on the market. So actually, we both went on the probiotic in March. I believe it was March of 17. Then about in June, Cassie approached me and I decided to go on the triplex to try and help with my weight and energy and so forth. I was literally on the triplex. And for those of you that don't know what it is, you can ask your sponsor or we can answer your questions in the chat below. But I went on the triplex. I was on the triplex for 1 month and I had the energy to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, which I didn't have to get up in the morning because I don't have little kids anymore. And I only work in the afternoons. I got up at 7 o'clock and went to go work out and do bar class, which if you guys don't know what that is, it's a combination of yoga and Pilates. And we don't use machines, we use our bodies. So I started doing bar, and between bar and plexus, I have to be honest, like Cassie told me, she said, it took me about 7 months. And month after month, because I said to her, I said, I'm not doing this again. I've done network marketing. I'm not sharing. I'm done. And every month I took my products. I'm like, they're not working. They're not working. But I just persevered because in my mind, I remember Cassie saying it took me 7 months. I'm like, well, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to throw away my money that I've already spent on my products. I used to crave sugar so bad that every single night after dinner, I had to have chocolate. I had a can. I still have the can. It has little tiny Dove chocolates in it now. But it was full of like Halloween candy chocolate. And every night I ate 2 or 3 bits of chocolate. And I thought to myself, well, it's only just tiny bits of chocolate. What does it matter? guys, like 5 years of eating those little bits of chocolate, gosh, does that accumulate? So I couldn't believe it. Like, I did not crave chocolate anymore. I mean, I went from having 2 teaspoons of sugar in my coffee. I reduced it to one. I have 1 cup of coffee every day before I have my pink drink. From 2 teaspoons to 1 teaspoon to 0 now. No, and I mean, I still love chocolate. Who doesn't? But I will have a dark chocolate if I feel like it. Last year, I had a goal to run 10 5Ks. I ended up running 12 5Ks. And I'm now taking all of Plexus. Because I love Plexus so much. But for the first 7 months, all I took was the triplex. I think the 7th month, I added accelerator for the month. And I went way and above. I think my goal was to lose 10 or 15 pounds. I actually lost 40 pounds total. I've gained a little bit back since I had foot surgery this year, and I was like inactive for 6 months, but that's okay because I was a little bit underweight for a while. I'm on no prescription medication whatsoever. I can sleep at night, put my head on my pillow, and no prescription meds, no cholesterol, no pain meds, nothing. I have added nerve. I do love the nerve, and I will sometimes take ease. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia many years ago when I lived in Canada, so the fibro, comes back every now and again, and I really find that nerve is fantastic for fibro. If you have severe symptoms, the nerve and the ease together are actually really great as well. But as I say, I take my triplex, I take our multi, which is the X Factor Plus, and my nails, I'm a masseuse, and so literally my nails they grow like crazy. I have to file them once a week because otherwise I'll be scratching people. But that's my story. Oh, and my husband, also getting back to my husband, he also takes the probiotic and the BioCleanse. He's had no attacks since he's been on the products. No attacks. So, I mean, that's amazing. I still have the energy to work out. I actually work out 5 days a week. And like I said, I'm running around on the small holding, taking care of animals every day and going for walks, working out. So that's my story. And if you guys have any questions, you can just pop them in the comments below and we'll be happy to help you out. So you guys have a great evening. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Megan, thank you so much for orchestrating all of this. If there's anything that you need to say, I'll hand it back over to you, Megan.
Sure. Yeah, so Cassie and Tyler, thank you so much for sharing, and Vanessa, this has been fun. I'll get the recording up. I'm so bummed that it didn't live stream. I'm gonna have to look into why it didn't do that, because last time I had issues also. But I think the encouraging thing is that everyone's story is specific to themselves, and just hearing your own story again is always so encouraging and inspiring. And you never know when something that you say or someone else will say as part of their story will resonate, and they'll be like, oh, okay, maybe I should try this. So I will get the recording up. If anyone has any specific questions, feel free to pop it in the chat thread, and we are open books. We'll be happy to. If you are someone that's listening to this and you're ready to start after hearing the stories tonight, go back to the person that invited you, because we would love to help you get started. And there's actually a 10% discount code, and you want to get in on all the specials before the end of the month. So yeah, thank you guys for sharing, and we'll go ahead and get the recording up, and you guys can share it with anyone that you feel like would benefit from it. So thanks for popping on. Thanks, Cassie. Thanks, Tyler. Thanks, Vanessa.